Hi, I'm Dr. Liz Cruz, gastroenterologist in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you so much for joining us as we continue this series on disrupting the medical industry. Today, you see a few different probiotics that we bought on our little shopping spree over the counter, so anyone can buy these. And in the middle, you see a very special jar that I'm going to talk to you about in just a sec. Just briefly, I want to explain what a probiotic is because I know that a lot of people do know what they are, but there are also a lot of people that don't know. And I've had people who thought that probiotics was fiber or an enzyme. It's actually not. Probiotics are good, healthy bacteria. That's it. Good, healthy bacteria. You may be wondering, why would I be swallowing a capsule or a pill with bacteria? Well, your intestine is jam-packed full of bacteria, trillions of bacteria. And the majority of the bacteria, there's a purpose for that bacteria. It actually is really important as far as the health of the intestine, the health of your body, believe it or not. However, what happens with different situations, such as the different foods that we eat, the medicines that we take, including antibiotics, stress, all these things can affect the balance of the bacteria. And just to tell you, this microbiome of bacteria, the goal is to have more good bacteria than bad. And if you eat a very processed diet, a lot of fatty food or a lot of junk food, that is going to off balance the microbiome, believe it or not. If you take a lot of medicines, if you take a lot of antibiotics, that is definitely going to affect it. The antibiotics are not only going to treat the bad bacteria, but they're also going to kill off a lot of your good bacteria. Even the stress in our lives. And who doesn't have stress? We're all affected by it. And believe it or not, that also affects the balance. So my point is that you do have trillions of bacteria, and you want to make sure that you have more healthy bacteria. So one of the things that we recommend is taking a probiotic, a good probiotic. Let's talk about what we have here. These are the ones that I bought over the counter, and you will see a Walgreens brand here that has some lactobacillus. It has two strains. You've got some Align here, which has been out forever. It has one strain of a bacteria called Bifidobacterium. You have Floristore that has Saccharomyces, and you have Cultural, which has also been out for a long time, and it has a lactobacillus bacteria in it. So one thing that you want to make sure a good probiotic has is multiple strains of bacteria. So different strains of different bacterias. Most of these only have one or two strains. So you want to make sure that you have multiple, because the more, the better. But there are certain ones. You don't just want to have any one. One of the things also that you want to look at is the count of the bacteria. It's really important that you have high counts in the millions, in the billions. The higher, the better, because the bacteria in these supplements is alive. And the longer it sits on the shelf, more and more of the bacteria die off. So you want to start out with high numbers. Most importantly is that you want to pour a lot of good bacteria into your system. So the numbers is really important. And one thing that you'll find is that even if it's a probiotic that you bought over the counter that has 10 strains, they may only have one number up there saying maybe 10 billion. So let's say you get a box of probiotics, it's got 10 strains in it, and at the top it says 10 billion. Well, that doesn't really tell you how many of each of those strains there are in that probiotic. And what you want to know, you want each of those 10 strains listed out, and you want to know how many there are. And you want to make sure that those numbers are in the millions, in the billions. Another thing about most of these probiotics, in fact, all of these probiotics that you buy over the counter, is that not only do they have the bacteria, but also they have fillers. So if you look in the section of the box that says inactive ingredients, those are your fillers. And the most common filler in these, all of these, is magnesium stearate. Also, most of these also have titanium dioxide to give it color. Look, here's a concern with fillers. Fillers are basically chemicals. So not only are you getting bacteria, but then on top of that, now you're getting all these other chemicals, these fillers that are being put into these products. And the reason that co-manufacturers will put fillers in these is so that they don't have to put as much of the active ingredient, which is the bacteria, and they're able to sell it at a better price, at a cheaper price. But it does not make it a better product. In fact, the fillers, basically, it's like, why even take it? So you might be asking, okay, well, Dr. Cruz, what should I be taking? I'm glad you asked. This is what you should be taking. This is Dr. Liz Cruz Pleasant Probiotics. In this formulation that I created, I have 6 strains of bacteria, of wonderful, good, healthy bacteria. And each strain, I've also detailed on the label how many there are of each strain. And our counts are in the millions, in the billions. So this is a very clean product. The other thing about my product is that there are no fillers. This is just the active ingredients. So just the bacteria. And there is a little bit of food in there, the prebiotic for the bacteria. So this is just pure active ingredients. No preservatives, no fillers, nothing artificial, just pure whole ingredients. People will come in to see me with all sorts of different issues. People who are having issues with gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation. Probiotics is one of the big ones that I like to go to because through the years, ever since my training, I have seen miracles in these patients that I've started on probiotics. If you eat junk food, if you eat processed food, if you eat sugary foods, if you drink sugary drinks, if you're on any medicines, especially antibiotics, if you're under a lot of stress or you just have stress on a daily basis, if you're having any issues like gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel, you should be on a probiotic. And if you're healthy and you feel great and you want to stay feeling great and keeping your intestine and your body healthy, you should be on a probiotic because the probiotics are going to help keep your intestine healthy, which in turn makes for a stronger immune system. Remember, 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So you definitely want to keep it healthy. That way you keep your immune system healthy, you keep your body healthy. The answer for you is Dr. Liz Cruz Pleasant Probiotics. I am going to include a link in this video that you can click and you could buy your bottle today. Thank you so much for joining me.